Hi friends, I'm Chelsea Grayson coming to you once again from the Office of the CEO. This is my show where I can help you be more successful in your current career, and I can also help you successfully transition to a new career. Today I'm continuing my multi-part workshop on how to draft a business plan, and we'll be focusing in this episode very briefly on the mission statement, which is sometimes accompanied by the vision statement as well as occasionally the core values of the company. Now, these statements, whether one or all of them, generally come at the top of the business plan, whether just before or at the very start of the executive summary, because these really set the tone for the rest of the business plan. They really set a guidepost for how the rest of the business plan will be laid out. Now, the mission statement and the vision statement help guide strategy development. They help communicate the organization's purpose to the various stakeholders, of course, being the current employees, the talent that you wish to attract, the investors, even the customers, for example, because occasionally, as you may or may not have seen on a company's website, they'll actually put the mission statement somewhere, whether it's right on the homepage or somewhere in the About Us section. The mission statement is really the North Star, right? It's a guidepost. It's a guiding light for the CEO and the C-suite to guide the rest of the employees and the company and its vendors and service providers to the right objective, to the objective of the company. It helps keep them on track so they can always refer back to the mission statement to make sure that the initiatives that they're implementing and how they're implementing those initiatives are consistent with the original North Star, with the original mission statement of the company. Investors also look at the mission statement to get a firmer understanding of the company that they're investing in or have already invested in, just to make sure that the company is directionally accurate and that their investments are well placed in a sound focus and strategy. As I've referred to in the previous episode, you can also show the mission statement to employees and to outside talent that you want to attract as employees, both to inspire them, but also to assure them that even if their base compensation is a little bit less than what they would normally command in the market, that the equity portion of their compensation, while it might not be worth much now, will generally increase exponentially in value moving forward, so that it's a good bet for them to take less money now in exchange for equity in a company that has a good mission statement, that has good objectives, again, that has a good North Star that's guiding it to increased value in that equity. So a mission statement, I'm going to break down mission statements versus vision statements versus core values. So a mission statement really defines the company's business. It defines the company's objectives. It defines the approach to those objectives. Whereas a vision statement is, if you're going to break it out separately, it's really the future state of the company, the future state of the brand. It's usually narrow. It's a little bit more specific. Sometimes can be a little bit more action-oriented, maybe a little bit more aspirational in terms of the loftiness of the language that's used. A lot of times people use the vision statement to reflect sort of more of the dreamy side of what they want the company to be headed towards, whereas the mission statement is much more, generally speaking, is much more oriented towards the business mindset, and it's less fantastical, less dreamy. And then the core values, of course, are those things that really make up the milieu of the corporate culture. You know, it's what the tone from the top is at this company, how we really want our employees to treat each other day to day. The sort of customers that we really want to attract are the sorts of people who are attracted to these values that we've set out. And sometimes people will try to tie back how those core values then will help you meet the objectives in the mission statement. But again, more or less, the core values sort of support what the mission statement and vision statement are saying, but it's more about this is how we treat each other internally. This is how we treat our customers. This is what our product is intended to do out there in the wide world. And this is how we really wish our customers would resonate with us. So a couple of quick tips when you're writing all of these statements, right? Project 5 to 10 years into the future. So it's not necessarily what's happening now. Again, these are inspirational, these are aspirational. This is what you want the company to be driving towards all the time. This is what you want the company to be. Dream big, focus on success. This isn't a time when you want to state the weaknesses of the company, when you want to state what the threats are to the company. As we discussed in a past episode, that's in the SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. We'll discuss those more in a future episode. This is hopes, dreams, aspirations. You want to use clear, concise, jargon-free language. So this isn't a time for platitudes. This isn't the time to use kind of corny terms of art. You want to use really substantive language that really hits home for people, but that actually has real meaning to it. Because you're going to have to action on this mission statement, and your investors are going to hold you to it for sure. And they have to know what it means. You want to, again, infuse the statement with passion, make it inspiring. And finally, you obviously want to align it with your business values and goals. So what I want to do is I want to give you a couple of examples from my personal experience in terms of mission statements, vision statements, and some core values. And then I want to give you kind of one of my favorite examples of a company that I haven't worked with, what their mission statement is, and how you can really get creative with it, and you can sort of color outside the lines once you get to be a big enough, well-known enough brand, and you can control yourself more than having to rely on your investors. Okay, so one of the companies that I've worked with in the past, this was our mission statement. And I'm not going to use the name of the company, but I will, so I'll just use Company X. So Company X will be a global fashion leader, revolutionizing elevated streetwear and providing the premier collection of core denim. So you can see that it's a will be, so we're looking forward. Using the word revolutionizing and leader, that those are big aspirational words where we're not just saying that we're going to be a part of a particular market, that we'll actually lead that market, and we're going to change the way that the market transacts with itself. When we talk about it's the premier collection of something, of course, the same thing, but then you specifically talk about elevated streetwear and core denim. Now you're getting to actual hardcore business objectives. So you're getting away from generally we want to be a fashion leader to what areas are we going to lead in. It's very specifically stated in the mission statement. It's streetwear and it's core denim. So that's one mission statement. Here's another mission statement from another company that I work with. This is in the cannabis space. Again, I'll use the word Company X to indicate what company it was. So we had a mission statement. We also had core values that went along with this. So this is that example. So the mission statement of this company was, Company X's mission is to build the cannabis company of the future by bringing the best science, medicine, technology, and engineering to the cannabis industry. So this cannabis company was to be distinguished from others, which may have been lifestyle brands or maybe more focused on hemp products, for example. This company was very much founded in science and medicine. The founder and CEO was a physician and still is a licensed physician. And part of his idea was that he wanted to get people away from opioid addiction and move them onto cannabinoids, which are not addictive and can also help wean you off of traditional pharma. So as you can hear in his mission statement, his business is very much focused on science, medicine, technology, and engineering. It's in the cannabis industry, and they're talking about the cannabis company of the future. So again, it's aspirational, forward-looking, but also specifically talking about this actual business and what they want to do versus the rest of the market in this industry. Here were the core values: innovation, compassion, value, teamwork. And I can expound on a couple of these. For innovation, the lifeblood of our company and driver of the most substantial long-term opportunities. New solutions to existing problems for our customers and businesses. In teamwork, they said, we are in this together. What we go through, we grow through, which was a little play on words because this company actually owns all of its own cannabis grows. So what we go through, we grow through was also sort of a little nod to the idea that they're a vertically integrated supplier. Compassion, the reason we get up in the morning, directed at our customers, team members, and communities. Again, this is the outward looking core value, right? This is how we want to treat our employees internally, but also how we would like to deal with our customers and the consumers of our product. So those were the core values. And the final example I wanted to give you is this. This was American Apparel. I feel very comfortable giving you the name of this company. We went through 3 iterations of our vision statement and our mission statement, which were 2 separate things in our business plan. This was back a few years before I ultimately sold the company. So this was one of our first business plans that we all did internally as a team. So we started out with this mission: to be a socially conscious, iconic brand that provides high quality American-made products to consumers while maximizing stakeholder value. Now, our vision that went along with that was grow American Apparel into a leading global ethical fashion manufacturer, wholesaler, and retailer. So you can hear in the very mission statement, which again is what the business will actually do at a very fundamental level. We talked about socially conscious. We talked about high quality American made. We did refer to maximizing stakeholder value. And then in the vision statement, we talked about that we'd be a leading global ethical fashion manufacturer. So we were focusing a lot here on what you might typically see in core values, right? The idea of being ethically made, the idea of being American made and socially conscious. We got some comments from the board and from some of our top investors. We were publicly traded at that point. And we were asked to toggle the mission statement to more firmly address not so much the things that were cost drivers like making in America, and not to tie us so much to those things because we might want some flexibility moving forward. We might not always make everything in the US. We might make some components offshore. They wanted us to focus much more on how can we really drive top line revenue. So we changed our mission statement to create a sustainable business model to enable scale and long-term growth while maximizing stakeholder value. At the same time, we revised the vision statement. So we still retained this idea of made in the USA, but it was only in our vision statement. So our vision statement was reestablish the American Apparel brand by leveraging its credibility in fashionable basics made in the USA. So there it was less about becoming a leading ethical manufacturer, and it was more about let's leverage where we already are, which isn't necessarily fashion, but it's fashionable basics. So that's much more exercisable, but made in the USA. So we still retained that concept. Now let me tell you where we ultimately evolved to, which if I recall well was the final mission statement and vision statement. The final mission statement stayed the same as the one I just read you. Create a sustainable business model to enable scale and long-term growth while maximizing stakeholder value. So again, we talked about it's sustainable, not in the way you're thinking of it from an environmental purpose, but sustainable in terms of year over year, we'll be able to sustain this model. Scalable, so we can grow it as we move forward. Long-term growth to maximize stakeholder value. Very business objective, makes the investors very happy to hear something like that. Then our vision statement, though, evolved in this last step to reinvigorate the American Apparel brand by leveraging its credibility in fashionable basics and positive reputation as the largest domestic apparel manufacturer. So if you see what we did there, we did continue to refer to ourselves as a domestic manufacturer, but we took away that very specific label of made in America so that we could give ourselves the flexibility of potentially offshore manufacturing some of our items in order to reduce cost and increase profitability for our stakeholders. So again, I hope that gives you guys at least a bird's eye view of what the mission statement, vision statement, and core values are, and what their place in a business plan are, and generally what their place in the comprehensive view of the company are, both to the CEO and C-suite, to the employees generally, to the investors, as well as to the outside marketplace, i.e. the consumers and customers of the company. And I hope you'll join me next time from the office of the CEO. Thanks so much.